I plan to self-study Chinese this year as one of the many babies who was adopted away from the language and culture back in the 1990s. More about that will be coming out in the next few weeks, so stay tuned. My name is Emily, and welcome back to Language Travel Adoptee. As I have mentioned before, and as you can see already in the name, I was adopted away from where I was born and raised in a white family. That being said, I plan to take all of you with me on my journey to learn Chinese as promised. Now, this was a very, I would say, last minute decision. What am I saying last minute? It took me a lot of reflection to get to this point and actually want to learn a language like this because it is in quote unquote a heritage language. In this video, I plan to go over all the methods that I used for self-studying other languages in the past and how my approach for Chinese will be a little bit different than what I have done previously. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as notifications so you know when I'm coming out with a new video every week. I do love knowing that you guys actually enjoy my content and it helps with the algorithm. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the short answer is I don't have a terribly long list of plans. And this is because when I usually approach language learning, I always want to know, okay, let me do some research about this language, different sounds that I need to be aware of, different grammar structures maybe that people are always saying, oh, this is so hard, you need to watch out for this when you're learning the language, etc. I also like to look and see on the internet where people are using resources for this language. So that kind of sets me up in the sense of knowing in advance what I need to tackle and what is the most strategic way to get to speaking the fastest. Usually because my purpose is to always become fluent in whatever language I'm learning. That could take 1 year, that could also take 10 years in the case of French. But generally my approach for even starting a language from zero has been through this process of researching thoroughly first. And all I know from Chinese is, well, I need 小狗, I think for dog, how to write 1, 2, and 3 for the numbers. That is really it. People have been talking about Chinese characters. You need to know at least, what was the number, 2000 to even read a news article. I don't know really any much more about the language than that. Also because I distanced myself so long from learning the language in the first place. But you can check out this previous video for explaining more about my mindset going into learning Chinese, especially from an adoptee perspective. For this language, it is solely about learning instead of making progress, like I report a lot for Russian and Arabic in my progress videos. It's definitely a mindset that may change in the future. I have no idea, but for right now, that is what I choose to do. So how am I going to balance learning Chinese while also maintaining and or learning 7 other languages? I have been building a routine up steadily. I don't hit it every day, but my goal is to eventually do a little bit of something, even if it's just for 10 minutes, 5 minutes of listening every day in each language that I am actively learning. I want Chinese, of course, to be included in this bunch, but I don't expect to spend as much time on Chinese for right now as on Russian and Arabic. As I said before, I'm trying to make progress in Russian and Arabic while maintaining everything else. Chinese is really a very internal experience that I want to share with you as I am learning the language. Much more about the process. What I plan to do first is focusing mostly on speaking and listening so I can get really used to the language sounds as well as the tones that I keep on hearing about for the Chinese language. Then I will maybe approach some character writing for Chinese. I never have really liked using like Latin script for pronunciation when learning different languages with different scripts, just like I did with Russian and Cyrillic, Arabic, and the Arabic script. It just bothered me that there was such a big alphabet and just this whole other writing system that I wasn't getting used to because I was only learning how to speak. So I definitely want to go into Chinese knowing that, okay, I'll start a little bit with speaking, but I want to eventually move on to the writing system as well because that's so important to be able to read, and reading is a very big focus of mine this year. So I want to make sure that I am still hitting that focus in other languages as well. My first resource that I'm going to use is Mango Languages. I love Mango Languages. They seem to have a lot of resources available for Chinese as well as my other languages. I really loved that they had Levantine Arabic. You can check out my review up here in a card linked above for you to see what I think about the program program specifically, but I think having that sort of spaced repetition with the app, as well as integrating a little bit of culture points, is going to be really enjoyable to do. I am not looking for strict grammar and hard rules about writing yet. I'm just trying to use the resources that I know best have worked for me. Pimsleur would be the second one, especially because people tell me the tones are one of the hardest parts about the language. I had a really good experience learning Russian through Pimsleur, especially from zero, and so I'm going to do the same thing with Chinese. Memrise. I love using Memrise. I haven't been using it as often for Russian and Arabic, but I did use it a lot for both Italian, German, and Spanish, I think. I also really like the concept of people making pre-made flashcards and then giving you access, because then it takes a lot of work off of me to still make the flashcards. I'm making flashcards for like what? French and Spanish, definitely. I still make them for Arabic and Russian, and they're just piling up. So it's kind of nice to just have someone else do that for me. It also includes spaced repetition as well, which I really, really like, and shows your progress across the screen as you go through different sets. The last thing I'm going to start using, especially learning from zero, is going to edx.org or Coursera. I've had really, really good experiences with both platforms and the courses included on those platforms for foreign language learning specifically. And I know that most of them will let you audit the class instead of having to pay $99 fee to obtain the certificate at the end. That is how I mainly self-taught myself Italian and how I got ready for my B1 intermediate class for Spanish. I really didn't want to stay in a class that would probably move a little bit too slowly for me. I knew that I could learn the basics pretty quickly for Spanish, and so I just picked a course, I think that time from Coursera, for beginning Spanish. So really good resource for you guys if you are looking for any new courses. Of course, all of this being said, it is so important to know your why for each language that you are seriously studying. And I'm not going to go into my why, as I said previously in this video, but I want you to check out this video right here to see what my mindset shift has required of me in order to learn this language. And especially given my background, look out for my adoption story coming out on March 2nd. I think I have established a firm date that'll really give you a lot more insight into my life even before learning languages, and definitely before learning Chinese, how this moment for me to decide to learn such a language has been so pivotal in my life. Also, make sure to comment down below and tell me if you have been learning Chinese, have learned it in the past, and what resources you would recommend to me now. I will see you guys in another video very soon. Take care.